Sometimes there are those moments where you're like, wow, not a lot is going on. Maybe it's even a little boring. I don't know. I wish there was more happening. That's this week, and I highly recommend you don't stay there for too long, because last week, I don't know what happened. I'm recording this in the past, but last week there was a big, huge, dramatic full moon in Leo. And next week, there is a very loud and earth-shattering and innovative new moon in Aquarius. And this week, there's not a ton going on in between those two events. So let us rejoice for just a little bit of breathing room. Hello and welcome. This is the Astrology of the Week Ahead podcast. I'm your host, Chani Nicholas. This week's episode, we are talking about the week of January 29th. And it's short. This is going to be a quick little ditty. But I do wonder what happened on the weekend with you. What did you notice? We just had that full moon in Leo on Thursday. And then we had Mercury conjunct Mars, and then both of them squared the nodes. So I'm just wondering, what were the conversations that came up over the past weekend? What truth got punctured? What truth made its way into your conscious awareness? Like, what was banging at the door and loud enough for you to finally receive it in terms of a message, in terms of a sentiment, in terms of something that you needed to express? This week, Monday, Mars, planet of action and planet of courage and planet of moving towards what it is we want to move towards, is in Capricorn still. It's not going to be there forever, but it's really super powered in Capricorn, which means that we get to protect the things that are vulnerable. We get to be courageous. We get to be really energized by the actions that we take. Like sometimes you take an action and you're like, oh, wow, I can do this. I should do this more often. That's the kind of start to the year that Mars and Capricorn looks like it's giving us. And I say looks like because I'm recording this in November. So I love the astrology of especially the last 3 weeks of January, after about January 29th into this part of the week is just phenomenal, save for whatever happened last week. Again, I'm not sure what happened, but if last week was a little bit bumpy and you were like, really, Chani, you like that? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that Mars is an excellent ally in Capricorn, because it's like, hey, what are the things that you want to get done out the gate, 2024, top of the year? Let's go. Let's do it. Let's make your dreams come true. With some hard work and dedication, yes, but it's here to help. Monday's astrology is here to help us make some kind of innovative move towards a goal. And it might just be like literally checking things off your list and feeling good about it. And I highly recommend that you do. It's really important in the moments where we are able to succeed and do things in a way that feels like maybe even we have some kind of control, although we never do. But, there's those moments where you're like, oh, wow, I wanted to do these things. They got done. Excellent. Like, take some time to celebrate them. This is definitely a little systems update with ease. So in this week's readings in the Chani app, I talk about how to use this energy and the ways in which you might be directing it. And just to ride the wave of whatever it is that's easy, and helping yourself stay on the path of change that feels fortuitous and assisted and like it's re-energizing. On Friday the 2nd, Mercury, very quick transit, you may or may not feel this, makes a sextile to Neptune, which helps us to talk about the dream, communicate a dream, speak with compassion, listen with compassion, connect with others. It's a great day to send out your message, and honestly to also send out what the vision is that you have for something, what the dream is that you have for something. And then speaking of vision, Mercury then moves into Aquarius on Sunday, the 4th of February. And here, Mercury does want to talk about a vision that it has. It is all about clarity and depth. And that's because on Monday, really Sunday we'll be feeling this, but on Monday we're having some deep, maybe profound, maybe transformative conversations because Mercury will meet up with Pluto right away. So we have lost one of the players in Capricorn that have been there for the last little bit. Mercury's moving pretty fast right now, so it's not been there for long, but it's been helping to have conversations, to move pieces along, because whatever's going through Capricorn right now is getting a lot of assistance. As soon as things start to move into Aquarius, which they will from here on out steadily, as soon as that happens, they meet with Pluto, and then eventually they will square Jupiter and Uranus. So it's much more of a bumpy ride from here. Not that it's bad, but it is a little bit more work. We've had some assistance again. We've had some ease. We've had some support from the planets moving through Capricorn, or they've been reflecting that this little tiny pocket of time has been one of, again, moving the pieces along and feeling like, okay, I can get these things accomplished. I can check these things off my list. And now there's something else at play. Depth, power issues, subterranean subjects, things that help us to, or force us to, or encourage us to dig much deeper than we normally would, because we've got to get, in this case, the answers. So prepare at the end of this week and the beginning of next week to have some very intense conversations, or to go on some incredibly deep dives. Beautiful astrology for research. We'll talk about that more next week. So I will see you back here then. Until then, enjoy. If this week feels like a little lighter than last week, I hope, enjoy it. Don't worry about it. Don't need more drama, because there's definitely some pretty intense activity coming next week. And it's all about breakthroughs and changes and innovations, but it's also possibly a little destabilizing. So whatever stability you can enjoy this week, please enjoy it, settle into it, appreciate it, and know that it won't last. Just like everything, good, bad, boring, indifferent, everything changes. And that's what astrology always reminds us of. Thank you all so much for leaving us reviews in the App Store. We read them all. We love them all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I wanted to leave you with this one called I Love Chani. Thank you, Chani and the team, for this gorgeous app. The mindful, ethical, and comforting approach to being helps me do crucial internal work while also keeping me accountable to the collective. I always feel refreshed and focused after listening. Thank you. So I hope that the changes that Monday's astrology, the Mars trine Uranus, bring are really helpful. And I'll talk about next week's new moon then. All right, bye for now.